And on this video, I'd really like to unpack and gain a greater understanding of thoughts. We know from video 1 that our thoughts can lead to our feelings and our emotional responses, which then leads to our actions and the end results that we get. So I really wanted to start to focus on thoughts. And I asked the question, what are thoughts? If you really think about it, what are they? And thoughts are words and images that are in our mind. That's all they are. If you really step back and look at this in a different way, they are just words and images. Now, they might be past memories or experiences that we had, but when you put it all together, they are just words and images that our mind produces all the time. The challenge is when these words and images become stories and we start to give them meaning. Because when we start to give something meaning, that's where these emotional responses start to come, and then our physical reactions start to happen. It's because we give these thoughts meaning, and what I call we fuse with them. They become real in our reality. When really these stories are just words and images. Now, an understanding from this is our minds have evolved over thousands of years, and our primary objectives for our mind is to keep us safe and look for danger and to keep us comfortable. So we've evolved over thousands of years, and our brain is to look out for danger and give us the worst case scenario so we can be prepared. Now society's changed, so what happens now is our mind is constantly feeding us these images and words to watch out for danger and to keep us safe, but a lot of the time this isn't true. And if I look back now, how many thoughts and images that came into my head that just weren't true, but they became real, and these created this stress and this worry and this anxiety. So it's really important now that we start to understand what thoughts are and to start to step back and say, well, actually, thoughts at the moment are just words and images. It's because I give them meaning and I fuse them to my reality that then the reactions and the emotions start to come forth. Now, it's something that really helped me on my journey and really helped me face my adversity was the concept of two minds. And we have two minds. We have what I call the watching mind, but also we have the thinking mind. Now, the watching mind, the observation mind, the attention and the focus, this is the part of the brain that helps us focus and step back and observe things. It's always in play. And our thinking mind is the one that's running all the time. This one's that's giving you the dialogue. This helps you plan. It brings our imagination, but it also brings judgment and it brings comparison. And this is constantly in play, the thinking mind. And we normally call the watching mind or the observation self-awareness. So back to video 1, this is the skill that we got to really start practicing, is engaging the watching mind, being able to step back and give distance to these thoughts and really start to understand what the thinking mind's doing. What is it thinking? What images is it putting into our head? And then what effect is that having on us? So the more we can engage our watching mind, the more we can start to see things as they are. And we can start to create distance. But it's also not about controlling these thoughts. I'm a big believer on acceptance. So where before we've been fighting and struggling and, the concepts of think positive, do this, it'll all, change your thoughts and trying to suppress them. What I really want you to try and think about is, first of all, engage the watching mind, the self-awareness, what I call observe. And then accept. Accept the actual thought for what it is. It is just words and images. Create distance. So once you've improved this self-awareness and you see these thoughts, you can step back and you can accept, not fight it, not try to change it. These aren't control techniques, these are acceptance techniques. It's to say, so a trick I have is I name this thought. So a lot of thoughts that I used to have coming forth was, I'm not good enough. And this constant thought and this internal dialogue was just keep feeding me, John, you're not good enough, you're not good enough. And I used to connect to it and give it meaning, and I used to fuse with that. And with that came worry, came fear and anxiety. Now what I do now, because I've engaged my self-awareness, is I observe this thought from a distance, I accept it. I say, here comes the I'm not good enough thought. So I name it. And when you do that, it loses its power. And I take some deep breaths, if it's quite a powerful thought, but I step away from it. And what I've found over time through practice, that these thoughts just come by. They're like cars passing your window. They turn up, I observe them, I accept them for what they are, and then slowly they disappear. And what I do is, it's called diffusion, or I diffuse from this thought. I don't give it meaning. I accept it. I don't fight it. I think the realization is these unhelpful thoughts, and this is what I call them now, unhelpful. I don't name them negative or positive. I name them unhelpful or helpful. If a thought arises in my head and I observe it and I accept it and it's unhelpful to me, so this I'm not good enough thought keeps coming, I recognize it, I name it, I even sometimes thank you for turning up, and then I diffuse from it. And this is a constant. This never goes away. We have to understand now that unhelpful thoughts are always going to come forth. That's the way our minds is evolved. It's evolved to watch out for danger, to identify danger and keep us safe. So trying to struggle with these unhelpful thoughts or deny them, I don't think is a great strategy. The strategy of acceptance and then diffusion is a much better strategy and something that you can put into play at any time. But the trick is engage the watching mind. So there's two now. There's the watching mind and the thinking mind. The thinking mind is constantly on the go. It's like a radio in the background. It's grabbing our attention. It's giving us these words and images in our head. And this is where we lose our attention. You know, we pick up the phone, we get distracted by the distractions. Step back and engage the watching mind. And it's a powerful thing, self-awareness, because then you can choose to accept and diffuse. So something to really practice on here now is the art of observation, acceptance and diffusing from the actual words and the images. And again, these are just words and images. These create the stories, and it's the story you give it because of the meaning, and you fuse it into your reality. So guys, I hope this helps. Thank you for your time, energy and focus, and I'll see you on the next training video. Bye for now.